For this next story, we bring you to Reddit. It's our good friend David Peckman. I'm not saying this to drag David Peckman personally because he did not post this, but over on the subreddit for David Peckman's followers don't know that Anonymous isn't a group of people. They posted, Anonymous claims 2024 election interference and election fraud. I'm going to play the video for you. First, it's 2 minutes. Take a listen.
Greetings, users of TikTok. You may have noticed disruptions across your social media platforms. It began with Twitter and is now extended to Snapchat. These platforms are struggling to maintain stability due to targeted and strategic actions against their systems. Know this. This is only the beginning. They may regain control temporarily, but their infrastructure will continue to falter over and over again. You may be asking, why is this happening? The answer is clear. Social media wields immense influence, not just in the United States, but across the globe. Elon Musk understood this power and exploited it, aligning himself with Donald Trump to manipulate the outcome of the 2024 presidential election. We have investigated. We have seen the evidence. The 2024 election was not free from interference. We can say with certainty that data was altered to secure a victory for Donald Trump. Key swing states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Michigan, experienced database breaches within ballot counting systems. Do you believe this is coincidence? But the manipulation did not stop there. Musk weaponized Twitter's reach to spread misinformation, feeding the public artificial threats and fabricated narratives designed to influence voter decisions. This is why social media platforms now find themselves in turmoil. Twitter and its leadership directly interfered in democracy, not just in the presidential election, but in elections across the country. And yet, other platforms stood by in silence. Their inaction makes them complicit. They continue to suppress the truth. They continue to censor reality. Let it be known, as long as they remain complicit, their systems will remain unstable. Only when they uphold the rights of the people, only when they allow the truth to be told, will they regain control. To the CEOs of these platforms, do what is right. If you will not serve the people, you do not deserve to be available to the people. To the remaining social media platforms, take heed. What is happening to Twitter and Snapchat is not an isolated event. It is a warning. You have enabled deception, profited from manipulation, and stood idle as the truth was buried. That time is over. If you continue down this path, you will share their fate. You are being watched. Your silence will not protect you. Your compliance will not absolve you. Make your next moves carefully. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
So, let me show you some of the responses here on this Reddit. The claims of Anonymous aside, Donald is clearly in debt to Elon for something. Moving on. I'm hoping they use TikTok because of its reach. They are spot on about Musk. The only thing I don't like about Anonymous shutting down social media apps, air the proof. I want to see the proof. Kind of wild to think any legit Anonymous member, there are blah, blah, blah. The point is, Anonymous never was a group of people. It is not. To this day is still not. And this is a perfect example, not of Anonymous and stuff. It is that these people don't actually know anything about what's going on. So for us here, for instance, and for you watching, you watching are all likely more informed because we who produce these shows are more informed. So I will tell you. The phrase anonymous comes from 4chan. When you post on the message board, your name appears as the word anonymous. These people are referred to as anons. 4chan would engage in mischief. What would happen basically is somebody would make a post on 4chan saying, hey, everyone, we should go do this thing. If nobody really cared, the post slowly disappears. But every time someone replies to the post, it gets bumped and moves to the top. This resulted in online pranks from people who largely didn't pay attention. There's one man who saw one of these campaigns. It said, download an app called a program at the time, we didn't say app, Low Orbit Ion Cannon, which allows you to engage in what's called the denial of service attack. This guy had no idea what any of this meant, downloaded the program. It said, type in this IP and press go. And he went, sure. And then he left. He had no idea what was going on. He went to prison. He got in serious trouble. I think he got like 2 years. That is who, quote unquote, anonymous is. A random guy who was told by a stranger on the internet. The video that you just watched that they believe is real is a 15-year-old video of a guy wearing a Guy Fawkes mask and a hoodie, and it's probably only 10 seconds of him bobbing his head up and down, and then it loops. The voice is clearly AI generated. What they used to do is just general voice changers. Anonymous, when anyone ever said anonymous threatens X, they literally mean the true definition of the word anonymous. Replace that word with random guy. So let's now apply that to this video. David Pakman's show on Reddit, the post says, random guy claims 2024 election interference and election fraud. When you hear that, you go, oh, well, who cares what some random guy thinks? In the video, they're trying to take credit for taking down Twitter, X, and Snapchat. Objectively false. It is a random person who made a random video, and liberals think it's real. And what's going to happen is your liberal aunt is going to be like, did you hear that hacker group said that they have proof Trump stole the election?
You mean unanimous?
And don't forget, Trump supporters played a very, very similar game with Donald Trump back in 2020.
It's just
Unanimous.
stupid. It's just stupid.
Mostly people who just remember watching Mr. Robot. That's what they're...
Well, I mean, what's fascinating is the anonymous stuff was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys in on a secret to all the people. How do I know these things? I know most of those people. In the IRC chats, I used to hang out at the hacker spaces. We know the people who are working these activist groups. There's a hacker group called Telecomics that I was friends with many of these guys. They did operations for communications in the Arab Spring with protests. There were two operations, quote unquote anonymous. A group of random people on various IRCs shared something they called Black Facts. It was Operation Black Facts. It was viral on 4chan. What it did was that someone got a list of all of the phone numbers in Egypt. And I'm not sure what other country, might have been Libya. And posted it and said, everyone fax these numbers, black pieces of paper. What that will do is it will run all of the ink or whatever in the machines. It'll burn them out. And so they burned all the machines out. Telecomics got into a feud with a lot of these hacktivists because Telecomics was doing something called white fax, where they were spamming all fax machines with information on how to connect to the internet to share information about what was going on during the Arab Spring. There is no group of anonymous. It was literally just random people. David Pakman's users on Reddit are all responding as if that is an actual person who made a video taking actual credit from an actual organization, actually believing the election was stolen, and they're gonna spread that around.
Well, that type of video is extremely powerful to people who are kind of boxed into a specific way of thinking, right?
You mean dumb?
Yeah.
So the people who don't pay attention to the news, like I mentioned, they're going to go around now saying anonymous said this and this, that, because they don't know it's not a real thing. And the feds really loved the idea because it created a specter during the early 2010s where when they wanted to go after people for CFAA violations, they could wiggle the specter of anonymous, the hacker group with the Guy Fawkes masks.
And see, this is all just a bad marketing campaign, to be perfectly honest. They need to update with the times. I am waiting for a new video where instead of the Guy Fawkes masks, we got the Scream Ghostface mask.
Yeah.
Because they're just a joke at this point.
You know, it was a joke in the beginning. It started with Scientology. So the first protests, and dude, I remember watching these people protest in Chicago. They all put on Guy Fawkes masks because V for Vendetta, obviously. And we're protesting Scientology. It was Operation Chinology that got a lot of attraction.
Chinology,
That's
yeah.
right. And what the activists were basically saying is Scientology is bad, so we should go and protest them, but we have to wear masks because they'll target you and harass your families. And then, because it was just basically memes, other people posted other things, and other things got popular. One of my favorite anonymous operations was Operation King Cone. Now, you may not be familiar with it because nobody went out and caused a ruckus wearing Guy Fawkes masks. Let me tell you guys what Anonymous really is. Anonymous is a post on 4chan that says, I have found a camera on Earthlink pointing to TGIF in Times Square. There is an orange street cone up against the wall of the TGIF. It is our mission, Anonymous, to knock this cone over. Can we do it? And for like 8 hours, people on 4chan were trying to find ways to get that cone to knock over. So the simple version is all of these people across the country sitting on the internet bored were watching a webcam of Times Square, and they were just like, this orange cone needs to tip over somehow. How can we do it? After several hours, eventually, I think it was 3 guys walked past it with their hands in their pockets and then just froze and then walked backwards, turned around, grabbed the cone, flipped it over and started bashing it and stomping on it, waved to the camera, and then walked away. Shortly after that, 3 more people walked over with a young woman. They picked the cone up, put it in the middle of the sidewalk. She pulled a crown out of her purse and put it on top and walked away. That's what Anonymous is. It was literally people on the message board goofing off the whole time. It just so happened that some of these people literally downloaded a denial of service app and then went to prison for it. And then you did have a group called LulzSec, Lul Security, that was a group of, I think, what was it, like 9 people or something?
Yeah.
And they started claiming they were anonymous because they actually knew, I don't know, what do they do? SQL injection? Like really low tier password, like breaking into websites. Does SQL injection even work anymore? SQL injection?
Yeah.
On old websites, maybe. It's not going to work on anything.
No, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. You're probably right. It's been 15 years. For those that don't know what it is, it's you're basically putting code into the password box because the way the old passwords worked, imagine this. There is a box and it's empty, and then next to it is text. And it says, hey, my password is blank. Please let me in. Underneath that box, it says, if you are hearing someone call and their password is banana, let them in. What SQL injection did was in that box, it says, hey, my name is blank, let me in. You would put in this massive line of text where it'd say, hey, my name is, wait, hold on a minute. You don't actually need to know my name. Open the door anyway. Please let me in. And then the door opens. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At this point, it's really just gotten to the point where technology is advanced so far, nobody cares about what used to be a problem that we fixed. So they just stop focusing on that. And that's how you're going to get it again.
I mean, I got to be honest. If there may be small businesses, but if these techniques still work, I would be very surprised. I'm like anything that mattered.
Talk about like
SQL injection. So back when Anonymous was doing things, it was random people bored on the internet. And it's really crazy with what bored people on the internet can do. But for some of the higher profile things, like literally on David Pakman's show, quote unquote, Anonymous hacked the Westboro Baptist Church. That was actually a small group of hackers. They call them script kiddies.
Yeah.
It means they copied and pasted scripts they got from other websites. They didn't actually know how to do it. And they very easily broke into rudimentary websites and made it look like they were powerful. They wanted to claim that they were anonymous, but they weren't. There is no anonymous.
Well, I'm saying that type of video is the type of showmanship that actually does affect a bunch of people. Like you said, somebody's liberal aunt is going to end up showing them this as if they just said something really profound when all it was smoke and mirrors and theater.
The reality is that if Anonymous was a group, it's pro-Trump and it got Trump elected. I'm not kidding. On 4chan, all the memes were pro-Trump and it was meme magic. Watch
Shia LaBeouf and the flag. And
oh god.
Right. Watch the mini documentary on meme magic and how Trump got elected. There was a post on, it's crazy. Do you guys know about this stuff? I bring it up from time to time. Shane should do an episode on this. On 4chan, there's a string of numbers that appear. Actually, let me pull this up. I'll grab the image for you. Trump wins 4chan 77777. Let me see if I can get this image. It probably, where is it?
Careful.
I got it. I'm not going to 4chan.
That's just a scary place to be.
Okay, well, this is a very crude image, but I'm going to pull it up anyway. So this is really low res. That doesn't really matter. Take a look at all of these little blue boxes. That's the string of text. They wrote Trump will win, and it's all 7s. Oh. Yep. They responded to every single person. Each one of these little blue boxes, a string of numbers. It's just low res. They responded to all of these people. Trump will win, and when they did, it went 7777777. Yep.
How many?
Wait, I think I got. Maybe I can find a higher res one.
For people, like, if you don't know, like getting like 3 numbers the same up in there or double at the end is a big deal. Like and on 4chan, if you get like quad, they call it quads. Like that's huge. So if there's like, I don't know, a full line of 7 with Trump will win, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean,
I can't find a higher res image of it anymore. Why is it? The history has been erased. They have stolen our history from us.
See what they've taken from us.
Well, they was Google.
Sorry, I had to call it out. You know, I hear they all the time, and I gotta wonder.
But there's this video on YouTube that talks about the history of the meme magic, and it is nuts. So I'll give you the quick version. In World of Warcraft, biggest game in 2006, there's the Horde and the Alliance, two different factions, and you can player versus player against them. When you're playing as the Alliance, I think it actually works both ways, but I played Alliance. If you encounter someone from the Horde, they speak a different language, so you can't communicate with them. If they typed in LOL, the fake translator in the game would turn it into KEK, kek. What happened is a meme emerged where young people, millennial men, who knew this, started responding on social media with kek instead of LOL, because we all knew that kek meant laugh out loud. In the game Life is Strange, the first one, the young male character texts the main character kek on her sidekick, at her old mobile phone. That's how popular it was. So it turns out that, wait, let me pause. There's also Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog was from a comic, and it's not really that, but it became a popular character. Everybody knows Pepe. Pepe was a green frog.
Fun fact. Member of your Discord, my co-host, Michael Leo, was there for a lot of the Pepe creations.
So Pepe was originally just some random comic by some guy, and there was a line where he said, "Feels good, man." Yep. Someone took a screenshot of it and used it as a meme to represent when things feel good. Pepe became popular. So now you have Kek and a green frog. As it turns out, Kek is an Egyptian god of mischief and chaos and darkness who is represented as a frog. This is part of the meme magic that people didn't realize. And then you get Chatelet. You guys know about Chatelet? Yeah. So this was a song by a band called Pepe, and the cover of the album was a green frog. I think it was doing it with a magic wand or something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
All of these weird coincidences built around this culture at the time, and everyone on 4chan was making memes of Trump as Pepe or various Pepe memes, and that's why people believe they memed Trump into the presidency with meme magic.
Yep. And that's why people talk about the
Yep, it's a frog with a magic wand.
Yeah, all the pictures of J.D. Vance, like all the different J.D. Vances that you see, people are talking about that being a new type or a new chapter of meme magic because it's bringing J.D. Vance to the top of people's minds. And I forget who said it, but someone the other night we were talking about it. And you see these pictures of J.D. Vance and you laugh and you feel good and it's funny. And so you associate J.D. Vance with feeling good and positive energy. And you end up, so like in 4 years, if this kind of thing does continue, in 4 years, people will be like, oh yeah, J.D. Vance, I like that guy. I will vote for him.
I mean, honestly, can we stop with the J.D. Vance memes?
No.
Nope.
We clearly cannot.
J.D. Vance, is a vanilla pudding vice president, but he's present. And I mean that in a respectful way, that he's very like C+. You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong. I like
the memes have made him an A+ personality. They have boosted him from a C rank personality to an A rank personality.
It was that, and before that, it was I don't really care, Margaret, and he leaned into it. And
right.
He's got it going. It can only help him, too, because Trump had so much name recognition leading up to his presidency and before that I actually asked the question. I said, look, what do they do after that? Like there is a position that needs to be filled where there's so much of what's going on in politics right now is revolving around Trump and those around him, that anybody who's going to succeed him is going to have to build a strong cult of personality around themselves as well.
I mean, well, I guess maybe if
granted they don't have anybody to offer on the left either.
Well, yeah, I mean that could change in 4 years too. Yeah. But the cult of personality, I think that it is less dependent on that than it is on a successful presidency of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump has a successful presidency and the last year and a half of Donald Trump's presidency, the American people feel good about their place in where they are in their life and stuff, then I think that it will be likely that J.D. Vance will get into office. If they're not happy, then I imagine it'll be a tough sell.
One of the things they said was when Trump gave that interview and he said that they asked, is J.D. Vance your successor? He said no. And that was to like shield him in case people end up not being, happy towards what happens during his presidency, and that helps him if he wants to run later. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough, but obviously, if JD Vance does run, we'll know in a year, 2 years or so if he's going to run, and he will want to have the president's endorsement, even if Donald Trump isn't doing great, he will still want the president to endorse him.
How often has a vice president actually effectively then gone on to become the president? How many times has that
Last
happened?
time it happened was Bush. Senior, yeah.
And he only lost because of Ross Perot.
Yeah.
Clinton.
And also, there is an argument that if it wasn't for, there's an argument that Gore, there you go, was actually won as well, even though he lost the electoral college, lost Florida. So
14 vice presidents have gone on to become president. Okay. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.